Hey, sorry, I've got a little bit of a cold, but this is just a response to jstar25's um, video about resellers killing the game. Uh, I've just got a couple thoughts on the issue. I think resellers are a small part of the problem. I think there's a lot of things that are adding up to people being disappointed with the sneaker game now. Um, I could say from my personal opinion anyway, I think one of the big issues is like I'm almost 25 now. I'm assuming J Star is probably a little bit older than I am. There's a lot of guys my age that grew up in the late 80s, 90s, that lived through like Jordan, Pippen, Rodman, David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, all these guys and remembered like the shoes that we wanted, the shoes that we had, and it kind of is one of those things that like takes you back to childhood, and it's the same thing. Me and several of my friends have talked about this. It's the same thing when you look at all sorts of different things like clothes, TV. Like me and my buddies are like, oh, remember Sandlot? Remember Rookie of the Year? The Goonies? Uh, just so many like different things from childhood, like the little Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figures. And it's one of those things like people look back on their childhood and it's like that was one of the best times of my life. So people want to try and recreate that. And with the sneaker game now, it's like I remember when I was in high school, which was around 04, 05, I could get basically any shoe I wanted. When the question re-release, when they did the retro questions with the limited edition gold hang tag, I picked those up on eBay, no problem. Um, when they did the first 14 retro around the same time, I want to say 05, 06, I got the forest greens. I got all those because from the time I was in about fourth or fifth grade until, oh, actually second grade, from the time I was in second grade, which is the Concord, when the Concords came out, 96, from the time I was in second grade until I want to say the 17s. The 17s were the last Jordan I got. So I got every Jordan from 11 to 17, including all the retros in that period. None of them fit anymore because I was younger, my feet were still growing. But I think one issue you see now is like when the only shoe I've ever waited in line for was the Concords because they do mean a lot to me. And I was waiting in line. I was the first person in line at my local mall, and there were people in line like high school kids. And I'm talking about different shoes like the Durant, Nerfs, all these new shoes that are coming out, and none of them knew what any of these shoes were. Like I feel like it's one of those things. Like it reminds me, I'm not a big hockey fan. I'm a huge Bears fan, Bulls fan. Lived in Illinois my whole life. Live in Chicago now. So it reminds me of the whole Blackhawks mania a few years ago when the Blackhawks made it to the Stanley Cup one. Nobody talked about the Blackhawks at all before they got hot. As soon as they got hot, everybody jumped on the bandwagon, kind of like Jeremy Lin now, Tebow before. I feel like that's kind of what's occurring with the sneaker industry is everybody's just getting on this bandwagon, and it's kind of like, oh, let's get this shoe, let's get that shoe, let's get this shoe. Um, yeah, resellers are hurting it, but that I think the whole issue with high school kids buying everything that's hot isn't helping either. Kind of like when Soldier Boy first came out. Like, oh, I was in college at the time, and literally, there was obviously college kids that thought it was hot. Even some NBA players, Dwight Howard liked the song, but that popularity spawned from high school kids and junior high kids. Like, I feel like that's where all the main source of a lot of this is coming from. And it's one of those things like you want to be different. So now with everybody buying pretty much every shoe that comes out, it's hard to be different these days. Like I used to be able to wear the Questions and wear the KG3 Nikes and wear shoes like that, and people be like, "Oh, I've never seen those before. Those are pretty cool." Now it's like I wear the Concords, the black cement threes. Everybody's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, those are nice," but I know so many people that have them. Like, it's harder to be unique these days with all these retros coming out and them immediately selling out. And like you mentioned as well, it is also hard for someone like I'm in school, law school now, um, and people that have jobs. It's hard to wait 2, 3 days for a pair of shoes. Like it's stupid, but there have been points I've honestly thought someone could make a living off of just reselling shoes. Like it's the thing is like I thought about it for a while and it seemed a little far-fetched because it's rare to have like a shoe that resells for something like the South Beach or the Concords or the Nerfs, like where there's a profit margin of like $300-400 in more. Like the South Beaches are $1,000, the Yeezys more than $1,000. But I start thinking with the number of shoes that are released and the number of limited releases, I feel like if you honestly got every release, you could make at minimum a couple $100 a week. Now, let's add that. Let's do the math there. It would probably end up being only maybe 30 grand a year on resale. But if all you have to do is wait for shoes, that's not really hard work. And the other thing is, I feel like more shoes are coming out these days. So, like, for example, the 24th, you're getting a restock of the Jordan 1s, the Dave White Jordan 1s. You're getting all the Galaxy shoes, the Foamposite Galaxies, and you could wait in line, buy one pair of each of those. I guarantee every single one of those, especially the Foamposite Galaxies, are going to resell for a lot more than the initial price. So you're talking in one day you could spend, let's say, 150 times 5 or 4. So that's $600. I guarantee the Galaxy Foamposites are going to sell for $800-900. So, and then the Dave White Jordans are already selling on eBay for $300-400. So you're talking 200, 800, 1,000. You're talking possibly $1,200, $1,300 profit in one day if you buy one pair of shoes of each. If you buy multiple pairs, if they let you do that, that's a couple $1,000 and just waiting for one day. So I mean, I think that is definitely an issue that's hurting the game. But I think the main issue now is too many. The market is being flooded. Too many people care about shoes now that didn't care about them when I was growing up. Like I got the Concords when they first released in 2001 on like a few days after they came out. No problem. Just walked into the store and got them. Like the Question retros, ordered them on eBay weeks after they came out. Now any hot shoe that comes out sells out on the midnight release. That's the biggest difference I've noticed. But that's just my opinion. This is kind of long, kind of all over the place with the rant, but I figured I'd just put in my opinion. Sorry, I got a little bit of a cold, but let me know what you think. And thanks for posting the question. definitely a good question and something I've thought about quite a bit. So, all right, take it easy. Peace.